Hi, my name is Steven.
It is I, Kevin.
And I am David, the eldest champion.
And we are the Brothers Born.
We invite you to bear witness as this most unlikely of throwdowns is about to commence.
Welcome back. You guys remember us? It's been a few months, but the Brothers Born are back with an unlikely throwdown. And what better way to return than to let the master champion be the judge?
You got
So
you got to stop it with this Master Champion stuff, dude.
I'll stop
I'm
when it's not true anymore.
I'm not convinced. I need to go back and do the stats because ah,
Anyways, if you recall, to our two or three loyal listeners, our last podcast from Unlikely Throwdown, my two brothers had each pick a character that was strong and powerful, but not really any supernatural or inhuman or whatever you call them powers. Just a normal dude or normal chick. Can you still say the dude and chick? Just a
yeah,
normal
sure.
man or normal woman or normal human life form. Or maybe not even human, just no superpowers. So let's see what we got here. Would either of you like to start this off?
Um,
Okay, Kevin.
okay.
All right. All right. So my character first appeared in film in 1984 and has since been in 6 films, as well as a TV series, a book trilogy, 2 video games, and an amusement park ride, with their last appearance being in the game Fortnite. She has been portrayed by 4 actresses
You
in
say
the
betrayed or portrayed?
portrayed. Any ideas
Portrayed.
yet?
Okay, go.
Hold
Do
on,
I
hold
have
on,
it
hold on.
now? How many actresses?
4.
1984 video
And she was
games.
in
How many?
Fortnite?
How many movies?
There are 6 movies.
Tomb Raider.
That was
There are
90s,
not
bro.
six, there are not 6 Tomb Raider movies.
Oh,
6 movies. When was the most recent movie?
I don't remember what the most recent one is.
Ballpark it for me. Like 10 years ago or older.
You, probably younger.
Okay. 84. The 84 thing throws me off here. I'm trying to think of a
Well,
female
let me
character.
let me give you some information about the character herself
Okay,
then.
okay.
She was probably born in the fall of 1965, though there have been some discrepancies about her actual birth date. She initially works as a waitress, working in the Los Angeles area, when she first finds herself to be a target of an assassination due to the actions of a family member. That should give it away. She's a
I'm
mother
still
of the
not
hero of
knowing who it is.
humanity.
The mother of the hero, like Superman's mom?
No.
The hero of humanity. The mother of the
I don't know,
hero of
dude. I have
humanity.
no
Don't,
idea.
don't dig. I'm not giving up on this yet.
You should know this one.
Me?
Yes.
Is it a franchise we're all three familiar with?
Yes, but David less so than the two of us.
Is it?
April O'Neil.
It's not April O'Neil.
She's not the mother of the humanity's hero.
Humanity's hero. Who? If you tell me humanity's hero, I'm obviously gonna get it. So, oh, okay. Sarah Connor.
Yeah, Sarah Connor.
Okay, from the Terminator. Very cool. Very cool.
No.
Well,
Okay.
my character. Or do we want to do attributes first, or I do my character now?
Do your character.
He first appeared in a book that was published in 1937.
Oh,
Any ideas?
No.
Okay.
1937.
There was a radio adaptation of this story in
Lone
1955,
Ranger.
and he was portrayed by Felix Felton. There is
Not the Lone Ranger.
Rankin and Bass animated cartoon in which he was portrayed by Orson Bean. He was on more cartoons and radio shows between the time when a really popular film came out in 2001 and 2003, and Ian Holm played him. He was in a couple video games, and then again he appeared in film in 2012 and 2014. He was portrayed by Martin Freeman and Ian Holm, depending on what part of the story it's in.
I don't know who those guys
Indiana
are.
Jones?
Not Indiana Jones.
No, that would be too young. I have no idea.
Huh. He's a adventurer.
That doesn't help.
That could mean anybody.
This is the second time a character from this franchise has appeared on a throwdown.
Nope.
Okay,
I thought
we'll
that.
go for it.
All right, the films in 2001, 2003 were huge, big old long films that got a bunch of Academy Awards.
Something with Lord of the Rings.
Yes, it is from Lord of the Rings. Yes, well done.
Gimli,
Not kiddingly.
the human dude that I can't remember his name. That's Boromir.
He is not a human.
He's not Boromir then.
No, and he's
Uh,
not as much of a popular character in Lord of the Rings as he is in the other book by J.R.R. Tolkien, The Hobbit.
Bilbo.
It is Bilbo Baggins. Yes, Bilbo Baggins. It is.
This
Now I
can't
know you
be
said
happening.
no superpowers, and that's fair. He does have possession of the One Ring for a short time, and I'm going to incorporate that, but it's not a superpower, so I thought it was okay to use.
How is that ring not a superpower?
Cool. Well, I think it's fine. I'm not. I think it's cool to use the ring. But we'll talk more about that. It's not his actual power. It's just a piece of equipment he has in which that is powerful. Um,
Kevin, what do you think about that? I don't know. That's kind of a
I
gray
feel
area.
like I feel like the ring could maybe count as superpower, but my character has guns,
there you
so
go. There you go. Bilbo definitely does not have guns, so I think it definitely levels the playing
Bilbo
field.
has a pipe that makes all kinds of cool smoke designs.
We will. So yeah. Yeah. So the book came out in 1937, of course. The Hobbit. Um, and yeah, there's a radio adaptation of the story, which I thought was really cool. I really want to find a recording of that. That'd be fun. And then, of course, the cartoon. I didn't realize it was a Rankin and Bass cartoon, which I thought that's pretty neat. They did like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and um, Santa Claus is coming to town, stuff like that. So that's kind of a cool thing. Now, segue, really quick pause. I actually had a different character in mind, and I couldn't choose this character because I didn't realize we had done him already. So it makes it seem like I wasn't paying attention to our podcast. But check this out. Your mind's about to be blown by this. My original idea was John Matrix from Commando. I thought that'd be really cool, like the guy who fights Bennett at the end. Arnold Schwarzenegger's character with all the guns and
when do we ever
grenades.
use John Matrix?
See,
Never
I
used.
thought the same thing. I started looking into it to research the character. Dig this, bro. John Matrix. His name is John Dutch Matrix. Commando is a sequel to The Predator. I had no
Oh,
idea. It is. Look it up, bro. It's the same character. Isn't that crazy? My mind was blown by that. I was like, no, there's no way. So I thought I was gonna do that character, but we already used Dutch, so I couldn't
Yeah,
do
but
it.
no one would have known that.
I
Like
know, but
if
like
Kevin didn't know that, then nobody would have known that.
I didn't believe it. I had to cross check myself on that a couple times. I was like, there's no way this is the same dude. It is the same guy. And one of the
that would have been
mission
interesting though to have a Arnold Schwarzenegger character fight Sarah Connor.
that would have been pretty cool. That's true because he did fight her in the Terminator, I suppose. So
You should do like an all Arnold Schwarzenegger throwdown. One of you could be kindergarten cop. One of you, I think that'd be fun.
but when it comes to our theme of unlikely throwdowns, I think that Bilbo Baggins fits the theme of what we're going for, the being unlikely, a lot better. So I
Yeah, that's true.
like John Matrix versus Sarah Connor. That potentially could have been some weird crossover in the 80s that happened, but Bilbo was never going to fight Sarah Connor until
No.
today.
I was
Today
gonna
is the
say he
day.
is about to right now. Let's go Steven first on this one.
Oh,
I'll mix it up a little bit.
I like it. All right, fair enough. Bilbo is very clever. He's a very clever guy. Hobbit, I should say. Um, he is very good at tricking people, like and tricking things. Now, granted, sometimes it's like dumb creatures like trolls, but he like answers riddles, makes riddles with what's his face, Gollum, and tricks him into like letting him escape from this little hovel he has. So he's very good at thinking on his feet, very witty, unlike me. But Bilbo's like that. Um, he has a he can be merciful. He had the opportunity to kill Gollum, and then he didn't. And it's a good thing he didn't because Gollum played a huge part in the destruction of the ring. Without Gollum in Lord of the Rings, like if Bilbo would have killed Gollum, I don't think Frodo could have completed his mission. So he had mercy when it counted. Um, he's a short guy, obviously. He's a hobbit. He doesn't need shoes. That's cool. I mean, not requiring shoes. That must be a nice,
No
like,
shirt, no shoes,
feature
no service.
feature to have in your life. He's got big old hairy feet because he's a hobbit. Pointy ears. Not an elf, but has pointy ears. And he's likes to break from the routine style. So hobbits are pretty much very like homebodies. They like to stay in their little shire
With those
and
round doors.
round doors, and they kind of just they stay out of the rest of the world's business and just do their own thing. And they're all kind of content living that way. Whereas Bilbo always had a little part of him yearned for adventure, yearned for something different than the status quo. And he had the opportunity to go on a big old adventure with Gandalf and his dwarven friends, as you know, in The Hobbit. And it forever changed his life. And we could thank Bilbo. He played, although he was not actually in Lord of the Rings, he played a pretty central role in the defeat of Sauron. So, um, yeah, cool guy, really smart, really clever, and pretty adventurous.
Okay.
Well, my character, what's interesting about Sarah Connor, she initially starts off as like a damsel in distress type character. She's just like this waitress who has like no, and then nothing special about her. But then the events of the Terminator happens, and she toughens herself up. She's a very dedicated mother, very determined and driven to learn as much as possible from everyone she meets. She's a fighter with a knack of survival. She also has shown compassion when she was going to off Miles Dyson, but then at the last minute decided not to.
Remind me who Miles Dyson is. I don't remember.
So he's the one that like decoded the chip that eventually leads to the Terminator.
Okay, cool, cool.
He was a guy. Remember, she went to his house and then like she started shooting at him, and then his kid like hit him with a remote control car. This was in Terminator 2.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Um, but she is um she ensures the survival of humanity itself by protecting her son, and
Hmm.
so that's pretty dope.
We have an
Not really a
interesting
lot about her personality though.
interesting situation here in that both, although neither one of our characters were the ones who saved humanity, they were both very integral in the saving of humanity. Although one's
Yes.
in Middle Earth, one's on Earth. But like Bilbo had to take care of the ring and his nephew and stuff, and Sarah had to take care of her son. So I think, in a way, Bilbo and Sarah have a lot of similarities.
Quite the paradox.
All right, well, let's dwell on that a little bit, and
Yeah.
we'll be back in a moment. Hello there. Do you like the sound of my voice? That's a stupid question. Of course you do. And because you love my voice so much, you probably want to hear it with more clarity. Well, good news. You can help make that happen. You see, having access to better equipment means better quality, but better equipment is expensive. By donating some funds our way, you can help us improve the equipment we have and help us with any fees and the like we accumulate while producing content. We have 3 tiers of donation available. First is a monthly payment of 99 cents. Tier 2 is a monthly payment of $4.99, and our third tier of monthly payment is $9.99. To make donations, follow the link embedded in this episode's notes. There is of course no obligation, and you can still listen to our content for free. But if you love my voice, as well as those of my bros, or if you just want us to have a better looking site, we would welcome your support. Thank you in advance, and please enjoy the rest of the show.
All right, well, we hope you enjoyed that break. I know I did. We're back in action. So next, I think what we need to do is talk about some of the powers these characters have. Am I correct in saying
But
this?
not superpowers.
No, but they still have skills. I should say skills instead.
Okay.
Like bow skills, samurai skills. I don't know, whatever skills they are. So, what skills does Sarah Connor have?
Oh, you
All
mixed
right,
it up again.
she's very physically fit and
Unpredictable.
strong. I wouldn't say she's peak human condition like everybody else is. Yeah, she could be. I'd say she's peak human condition. Um,
Where was she a waitress at? That's important to know if she's peak human condition or not.
Well, she's waitress at cafe. I'm talking about afterwards.
Oh, okay. Gotcha, gotcha.
When see, so Terminator 1, no, but Terminator 2,
Oh yeah.
physically fit and strong. She's an expert marksman with multiple types of firearms.
A lot of them are expert marksmen as well. In addition to
That's
peak
true.
physical condition, a lot of them are expert marksmen. A lot of the characters we've had. That's kind of
Well,
fun.
you have to have
Indeed.
see. Well, I never shot expert, so maybe not. Um, she's educated on a lot of military tactics, as learned by people she comes into contact with. She has a solid knowledge about explosives,
That's
so
right, she
that
does.
can come in handy. Um, and she's determined to the point where she keeps fighting even after being severely injured. We see that in Terminator 2. Seriously though, dude, she's taken on multiple Terminators. Most people can't even take on one. She's taken on like three or four. I don't know. She's
Yeah,
taken on a few.
that's true.
That kind of stinks for her, man.
Yeah, her
Just want to be a waitress.
fate
She
did
didn't know
not
what she was
deal her
getting
a
into.
nice hand. That's for sure.
No, it did not.
Um, so physical abilities. Okay. Um, Bilbo's not peak human condition. I wouldn't even say he's peak Hobbit condition. Of course, peak Hobbit condition is probably eating a lot and being a little plump. That's how hobbits live their life. So maybe he is peak Hobbit condition because he's kind of I don't know. But he is small, as I said. He could fit into tight areas, small places. It's easy for him to sneak around because he's just a hobbit. You know, like he's not a big tough elf or big orc or a dwarf or something. He's just a humble hobbit. So he could. It's easy for him to be deceitful to people or deceive people into thinking he's maybe not as powerful as he is. Um, as I said, he's clever. He's got a lot of wits about him for sure. But as far as like fighting and stuff like that, I feel like it's usually his preference to not fight, but rather find an alternative method of like either
And to
escaping,
eat that second breakfast.
eat that second breakfast. That's right, elevensies, um, or to like find an alternative way to because he knows his limitations. He knows I'm not a big physical fighter. I got to use my brain to think it out of situations. For example, with trolls, they're trying to cook them, and he knows that the trolls will go turn into stone once it's daytime. So he just keeps talking to him and talking to him to like so they don't cook him and like slow down the cooking and then until it's daytime and they're frozen and then he escapes. Or like he has a riddle battle with Gollum.
I appreciate that, but if Sarah O'Connor has her military gear, and I don't see Bilbo can just talk to her for hours and hours and hours until
I'm
she.
not
I don't see
saying I'm
I
not
don't see him
saying
having a riddle battle with Sarah
no,
Connor,
no, no.
that's for sure.
I'm not saying he would. I'm just giving examples of things he has done,
Oh,
and
okay, okay.
that he I think there is a way in which he could use his mind or his cleverness to maybe like fight back a little bit. Um,
Okay.
as far
You
as
can go ahead and think
we
that.
didn't talk about weapons yet, did we? Right, we're leaving that. That's next.
No.
Okay.
Well, her weapons are pretty much anything that goes boom.
Oh yeah, you did mention explosions. Okay, so um, two things I want to mention. Bilbo does have Sting, which is a little short sword that glows blue when there's orcs around. Um, so I don't think that's gonna do much against Sarah Connor, but it does. It is a nice little short sword.
How short is it? Do you know
Uh,
by chance?
you've seen the
Like,
movie. It's
give me
probably
a
like
visual. Give me a visual with your hands.
a viewer can't see that. Maybe the length of like your forearm to the tip of your middle finger. Maybe a little bit longer than that. It's like not. It's not a big old broadsword. He's a hobbit. It's more like a not quite as small as a dagger either, though. Short sword.
I
Um,
just wanted to see you describe it, that's all.
and of course he does. For the most of his time, he does. He is in possession of the one ring to rule them all, in which when he puts it on, he can turn invisible. Now, it corrupts his mind. It's obviously it's making him. It slowly turns him bad, but he doesn't ever actually go all the way to being bad. He has a couple. You could tell it's starting to have an effect on him by the end, but he is able to withstand.
He's got
Hobbits in general,
willpower.
hobbits can in general can withstand the lure of the ring a little bit longer than the average person. At least from what I could tell. Like what's it, Boromir and like Sauron, they all like get corrupted within like a few minutes of being near the thing. But he,
Boromir didn't even put up a fight, man.
yeah, dude. Whereas he carried it for years and years, and it didn't. It affected him very slowly. But those are his two weapons: Sting and the One Ring. Hey,
Sting in the One Ring.
Sting and the One Ring.
Sounds like he can rhyme a little bit too.
Yes,
And where does
So Sting
Sarah
One Ring
acquire
versus pretty much a plethora of military equipment.
where does
yes.
she acquire this equipment though, is my question. Because if they're in the Shire, how is she going to find it?
Why would she be in the Shire?
Because she's finding Bilbo, dude.
That would
Why
be a sweet
else?
crossover right there.
Why would Bilbo be in her world? I'm
That's
just saying.
true.
If she's in the Shire, she probably can't find too many explosives, is all I'm saying. There's fireworks there that Gandalf lights off that
Oh,
set
that's
all
true.
kinds of cool
I
things
just
in the sky.
pictured her rolling up into Shire. The hobbits wouldn't know what to do. They'd be like, "What is this?"
She, she's got like a machine gun or some junk.
None of the people in Middle Earth would have any like maybe like the orcs. No, the people they're corrupted by the ring. They'd be corrupted by those weapons.
Anyways,
All
all
right.
right. So we got the weapons figured out. We got the physical abilities figured out. We've got the personality um, traits figured out. Anything else we need to discuss through this before the battle begins?
I guess one thing I forgot to mention in the his personality traits, he has a very merry temperament, I'd say.
He does. He does, in
He's
fact, have
very
that, where
he's
Sarah does not.
he's a very
Yeah,
jolly
she's
fellow.
she's a very angry individual. At least in Terminator 2, she is.
I mean, I would be. Let's be real. If I was in that situation, I wouldn't be merry. But I do have my guide to Tolkien book a little bit
I
today.
bet you do have
I didn't
that.
even need
Oh,
to use the
there it
internets to
is.
research this character. But okay. Yeah, I think it's the last thing I want. I do have one more thing. It's a defense mechanism,
Okay.
and I think this is going to be pretty substantial against the gunfire. Bilbo has a piece of mail underneath his clothes made of mithril,
Made of
which
who
is the
now?
mithril, which is
Meat?
mithril.
Huh?
Shut up. You've read these books. You don't give me a hard time. You know what I'm talking about. It's like the most like the strongest substance of armor you could to get. It's very rare and it's
Okay, let me ask you this. Is it stronger than vibranium?
I'm gonna say yeah. There's no one's ever put that up against it, but I
Kevin, what
mean,
do you think? Would it be stronger than vibranium?
I
Not
don't know
that
if anything's
vibranium is,
stronger than vibranium.
you don't think it would be?
I don't know. I don't know much about mithril or vibranium.
Okay, so what kind of hard thing does Sarah O'Connor have?
I mean, she's got bullets and explosives. So,
Okay, but does she have anything in close combat where maybe the Sting would get a little piece of her? Like, because if I remember from the movie, she doesn't really have much in the way of armor or protection,
she doesn't have anything in way of armor. She just got her peak physical condition.
right?
I thought
Bilbo's
she
a little
had like a
sneaky.
bulletproof
Bilbo is a
vest
little
at one point.
sneaky though,
Oh
so
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
she
like
does wear a bulletproof vest at one point in time. That's true. So she does have a bulletproof vest, which Sting would have a hard time getting through.
would it though?
I think so, but
It glows blue. That means it's powerful,
it doesn't
right?
necessarily only around orcs. She's not an orc.
That's true. Okay, good
I,
point.
I was saying the mithril armor is throwing it off a little bit because I don't know if mithril is bulletproof or not. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We don't really know.
There's a Reddit thread about it. It says mithril versus Kevlar. Which one is more durable?
Man,
Someone
he was
took
just waiting for
time.
you to, Kevin.
Someone took
He was just
time
waiting
to
for you to say
analyze that.
that, Kevin, so we can whip
No, I
this
just
out.
looked it up.
Okay,
This
tell me, what does it say?
this person commented, "Let's see a vest that is capable of probably stopping everything thrown at it, made of mythical material that doesn't exist anywhere else on Earth. It's probably worth millions. Or Kevlar. I'll take the mithril, please." Who's this person? This person's awesome.
That person's a
So,
nerd.
does this person have any kind of like credibility to their name?
uh, I don't.
Like, are they military trained? Are
They're on
they
a Lord of the Rings Reddit thread, if
maybe on
that
a
means
SWAT team
anything.
somewhere? Oh, okay.
I don't know if you can compare the two materials. So
And,
Now,
okay,
the one thing I will say, like, does this vest protects his torso, right?
it's from like basically just the torso
Shoulders
down,
to dong, or what? Or is that what we're
shoulders
talking
to like waist. I wouldn't say to
about? Okay,
dong necessarily, dude.
gotcha.
Quit talking about dongs though. You know, Hobbit's got big feet. You reckon? What do you reckon's going on down there
I don't want to reckon that,
with
man.
hobbits?
I just don't.
Maybe
I just want to
maybe
know if
we'd have to
Mithra's
ask
bulletproof or
Sarah what
not.
she thinks of that. I don't know.
What, Kevin?
I just want to know if Mithra's bulletproof or not.
I'll see if I can. Let me Google that again. I'll use
Not
something
that it
really.
matters because it's not going to be blast proof.
All
Is
right.
Mith?
Well, if it's bulletproof, it could slow, and she doesn't know what it is. It could slow her down just for a
Oh,
short time.
that's a good point. She doesn't know what it is. Bilbo could easily be like, if you shoot me on this, we're all gonna die.
I
Well,
don't think
I
she
will
would
say this
care.
though: Terminators are also bulletproof, and she took down a couple of them. So
In Terminator 2, she didn't take she the other Arnold Terminator had to take down the melty
no, but
one.
she put up a good fight against him.
On the Ask Science Fiction thread on Reddit, it says bullets. No, I don't want to tell you.
It's not bulletproof, is it?
Bullets would likely pierce it. But this is again, this is some dorky person on Reddit. Uh,
So
there's
we
a
got one dorky person that says bullets will pierce it. We got another one that says, "I'll take the mithril, please." So it could go either way if you ask the community of dorks.
I do feel like it doesn't matter because first of all, other parts of his body are exposed, such as his head, arms, legs,
yeah.
And possibly
and
dong.
she is an expert with explosives. So like
But yeah, the dong
even you
could be
can have all
kind
the armor you want, it's not going to be blast proof.
of okay. So let's see here. We got a couple of factors. Um, yeah, Sarah would pretty much kill him with all her weapons. I'll give you that.
Ooh, but
But
he puts the ring on.
dude, okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying
What's
he
the ring
puts
on?
like obviously if she's spraying like with the bullets everywhere, it doesn't matter if you're invisible or not. But he has potential to avoid.
Yeah, but when they turn invisible, don't they kind of go to another place too, or they just are invisible?
Everything in the I can't remember. It's been a while since I read the books, but in the movies everything kind of goes black and white, and they
So
could
like a
see
Stranger Things type thing?
they could see the ring wraiths really good, and it does
Right.
kind of
Okay.
it is kind of a skewed. I don't think they go to a different plane of existence or anything, but it does kind of skew their perception a little bit.
Just more aware of what's
So
around
if I
them.
have a machine gun and someone disappears with the ring, I could just turn around and spray all around me. I might kill everything around me, but I probably would kill Bilbo
You kill
too.
all the other hobbits if they're in
On
the
the
Shire.
Shire.
Why is
They're
Sarah
just sitting
taking
there
out all the
enjoying their
hobbits,
second
dude? She's not
breakfast, and
that
then
big of a
Sarah Connor
jerk.
rolls up.
Why would she take out the whole species, Kevin? That's not very nice.
I don't think she would.
But anyway,
I
so
mean,
I was gonna say,
she's got a mother's heart. I don't think she would take out a whole species of hobbits.
right. Well, it depends if she perceives them as being evil or not. But the ring would slow her down a tad. I do believe that. Like it would confuse her a little bit. And he might be able to, work his way around while he's invisible using the ring. But on the other hand, when he has it, he is like his mind is distracted and it's not really like
I don't, you know,
he's in the other plane of existence. So he's
it
in an
is,
evil
but
place.
you see that more with Frodo than Bilbo. I will say, in The Hobbit, it doesn't seem to bother him as much as it bothers Frodo in Lord of the Rings. Maybe
Um,
because he doesn't know what it is. Frodo knows what it is. Bilbo has no idea. It's
Plus
just
Frodo is supposed to be more pure good, pure righteous or whatever than Bilbo, right?
so it doesn't seem to affect Bilbo in quite the same
Because
way in
Bilbo's a
The
little bit of a
Hobbit.
savage too. But
Um, and I will say this: you saw what the ring did to Boromir. He's a human man. What's the ring gonna do to Sarah Connor? Do you think she's gonna be, oh,
well,
I
that's what I
gotta get
said.
that?
That would definitely be a positive for Bilbo. However, weapons, so would be a positive for Sarah, obviously.
Yes.
Now, just real quick, I'd like to visit because I don't know. I'm trying to imagine how this would work. We know Bilbo likes to eat. We know Sarah Connor was a waitress at one point. So that could be how they meet, possibly. But if we did it then, that was before she was trained as a peak human and soldier and whatnot. So if they met at that point in her existence, I think the two would become unlikely friends.
That's true. They
Like,
probably
because he would
would.
probably tell some interesting stories while she's serving him. I think the two would hit it off and, become unlikely companions and friends. What do you guys think about that?
That's a nice positive twist on this. Instead of saying it's a tie, we just turn it into an unlikely friendships
And
podcast.
then when she does run into the Terminator,
Oh, dude,
like if
Bilbo could
she's
totally
friends with
help her.
Bilbo already, that would be a great asset for her, I would think.
That's true. Because I don't care what robot Terminator it is, it probably can't see Bilbo. Maybe.
I think he'd be able to see Bilbo.
You think so?
Yeah, because you'd
You know,
have
I'm trying to put a humorous
because
spin to
Terminators
this.
have like
So
infrared vision and such.
that's true. But I was
Oh
just
yeah.
trying to think of a way where the two of them would chill and hang out together.
So we could have. I mean, the world. Every piece of fiction now is all about the multiverse, right? So we
Right?
could have
That's
a
what I'm saying.
multiverse here. The one where they become pals and they help each other fight the Terminator and Sauron. In fact, we should have the Terminator fight Sauron for some reason. That'd be cool.
Yes.
But and
While
then
How would
Bilbo's
that
having
even
his
work?
second breakfast. So I like that. I like that story, kind of. I think that's pretty cool. And Bilbo could tell his crazy stories and antics to, sorry, I'm gonna sound dumb. Is it John, right? John Connor, the son.
Uh-huh.
oh yeah,
So John would be chilling there with all the hobbits while Bilbo tells him all his cool stories.
and they got play dates with John and Frodo.
I just think that'd be kind of fun. Now, in the battle version of this plane of existence, in a different multiverse, um, I don't know. It's kind of an interesting matchup here because you do have she has she's really smart with military tactics. She's got a lot of knowledge. She's got very good fighting ability, and she's got a resource. I don't know how much weapons she has. Does she have the weapons herself, or does she just kind of just
She's got
gangster
like
wherever
this.
she's at, steals
So if
them?
you remember Terminator 2, she's got them stashed in different places. Like she has this bunker she goes to where she just has like everything.
Now, do you think she would have a
That's where he gets
bunker
the
in the
minigun.
Shire?
She's got grenade launchers, the miniguns.
Would she have a place hidden to hide her weapons in the Shire already?
Well,
Or would
I don't
she
know.
just happen to stumble upon the Shire? Or does Bilbo come to Earth? I'm not sure about that. So I guess we just, I don't know. I guess that doesn't really matter. But she's got a lot of weapons, we'll say that.
So here's the thing. Another multiverse aspect of this. I think we could explore. That'd be fun. In The Hobbit, they're going to Erebor, the Lonely Mountain, where Smaug, the dragon, is guarding all the gold and stuff. What if there's a version of this story where Smaug is guarding a bunch of weapon, like guns, and they're going to go to the Lonely Mountain to pick up all those goods for Sarah
I kind
Connor.
of like that story. Yeah, I kind of like that.
That could be part of our what the buddy version where like he meets at they meet at a restaurant and they're like, hey,
That would explain why there's no other guns anywhere in Middle Earth
yeah,
because the
because
dragon's hoarding all of
Dragon's
them.
hoarding them all. Need explosives, fire. It
Good
all
point.
makes sense.
So the dragon's Texan.
Yeah, there we go. Smaug the Texan, and then they go to the Lonely Mountain. They get the weapons and they go fight the Terminator. I like this. I think we're really going places here.
And to think it all starts with second breakfast. But let's, I guess for the purposes of what we're trying to accomplish here, we have to go back to if they were to battle. I think we can say at the end that somehow this friendship thing will happen anyways. But for the actual battle part of it, because
Oh,
I
here it
don't really want.
comes.
What's that?
Here it comes.
Well, I didn't say no. I haven't made a decision yet. I'm
Oh,
just trying. I'm looking at
oh,
both sides here because she does have military intelligence, right? And she's got peak human condition, probably. We don't know for sure, but we know from watching the movies that she's got to be close to that. She's really good at marksmanship. She's strong. She's got a knowledge of military tactics. So her knowledge, I think, is great. It's not. It's different than the type of knowledge Bilbo has. His knowledge comes more to trickery and tomfoolery and things like that.
yeah.
But he's pretty good at that, and he's very sneaky. He can be deceitful, clever, etc., etc. I feel like those trolls are not quite as smart
No,
to
they're
say
not. They're not. Of course not.
as Sarah, but I do feel like he could trick her somehow with his wits. Um, and he does have the ring, which can help him become invisible, which I think would throw her off for a little bit. The sword in close battle, it might have some like hand-to-hand combat. Since he's so small and shifty, he might have an advantage here where he could, flip around, whatever, sneak around her, shift around, and then somehow get her with that little miniature dagger, whatever you call it,
It's a short sword.
the sting. But then again, that's a big if because she's got like lots of. I don't know if does she have martial arts? Because that's the other thing that a lot of these people have. Several
No,
different kinds of
she
martial
does not
arts.
actually have martial arts
That's
She doesn't
training.
have
cool.
that, but she
Credit
does
to
have
the writers
pretty
there
good
for.
fighting abilities. Um, So it kind of is I don't know, it's a little bit tougher than I thought it would be when I first saw the name of the two characters.
Let me hit you with a
Um,
quote game, huh?
yeah, I was going to say we got to get to the quotes. I'm a little bit off because it's been so long, but let's see what the quotes have to offer, and then we'll see if we can go from there.
All right.
Steven, you go quotes first.
I got one I want to share.
For some reason, I have a feeling that Sarah's will be more savage than yours, but go ahead.
If more of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world.
How can you fight this man? Does he play? I can't remember if he plays a little tiny flute like a lot of
I
the
can't remember if he does. I know
mythical creatures do.
he
Um,
smokes the tobacco.
He does do that, yes.
so she's talking about she breaks this guy's arm, and he's like, "Oh, I broke my arm." She's like, "There are 216 bones in our human body. That's only one."
Oh, yeah, savage for sure.
That's pretty good, but does a hobbit have 216 bones? Because this quote might not apply to this case. Can you Google how many bones a hobbit has, Steven?
Sure, let's find out.
You're not really doing it, are you? I was joking.
No, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out. I'm curious.
All right, while you're finding out, Kevin, give me another.
206, approximately 206.
And what does a human have? 200
I
what?
think it's actually 206 as
Oh,
well.
okay.
Oh
So,
man, so that quote does apply then. Interesting. And who just made up how many bones a hobbit has? I feel like someone just made that.
it just says
I don't think
AI,
J.R. Tolkien.
Chat GPT.
I don't think Tolkien ever wrote that in any of his
He never
books.
studied anatomy or anything.
All right,
I don't
give
know
me
you
another
half.
quote, Stephen. You got any more?
I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. There's a savage quote right there.
He likes them
He,
less than they deserve.
see, that's what I'm saying. He talks so smartly that we don't even know what he's saying sometimes.
Probably because he's stoned half the time with that tobacco he smokes. But all right, anything left with Sarah? Any other quotes there?
Um, the unknown future rolls towards us. I face it for the first time with a sense of hope because if a machine, a Terminator, can learn the value of human life, maybe we can too.
Ah, it's a dangerous business going out your door. You step onto the road, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to.
No, what a wonder. What a
So
drift. They're
his
both
stuff
kind
is
of
like
drifters, no?
his quotes are the kind that you put like on a poster and hang in your
Right?
house.
They are kind of
Um,
both, because wasn't Sarah kind of a drifter after initially meeting like, don't they both wander all the time?
Yeah, they do. There's no real home.
That's
Well, at least while he's on his
On
adventures.
August 29th, 1997, it's going to feel pretty fin real to you too. And me not wearing 2 million sunblock is going to have a really bad day.
I remember that quote.
Hmm.
All right, Steven, anything else?
No, I think we have equal amount of quotes now, so I will leave
Now,
it.
here's a good quote. If we go back to my original idea of them meeting up at a cafe, I think Sarah might say to him, "Would you like bacon or sausage with that?"
And he would say both.
And then she would have a nice little laugh about it, and then they would hit it off
She'd
from there.
probably
And
smoke the
the
tobacco with him,
friendship would
honestly.
begin.
In the 80s, you could smoke in diners, so they would
That's true.
they would be
I remember
buds.
when I was a kid, people smoked everywhere, dude. No matter where you went, there had to be a non-smoking section, and you could still smell the smoke. All right, man. I don't know. Like, I should be able to decide this quicker. And I'm trying to take my personal feelings about both characters out of it. I like Sarah Connor because I know she's good. She's trying to protect her son. I like her character, but I also like Bilbo, and I feel bad having anyone ever defeat Bilbo in anything because he's just so fun and jovial. So I'm having a bit of trouble. So I need to take my bias and my feelings towards both characters out of it. Um, I feel like if it was a hand-to-hand matchup, like I think that would be a little more interesting to watch than just having her blow him up out of, just boom and he's dead. Um, so I feel like if you involve the ring in this hand-to-hand thing, does she have like does she ever use weapons like swords, daggers, knives, whatever,
Yeah, I mean,
chainsaws,
she's
the
used a
like?
knife before.
Anyways, I feel like that would be an interesting battle because he'd be all shifting around, dodging, jumping around with that ring if there's no guns involved. So I think he would I think he would win that battle, the two of them. If it was just, knives and or hand-to-hand combat. Maybe not hand-to-hand combat, because if they didn't have weapons, I think she could pretty much rip him apart. But unless he could disappear with the ring, you know what I'm saying? Like I think he could sneak around and
I
move
think you
around.
have to put the ring and the guns in the same situation here.
Okay, well,
Like if
I'm gonna get to my final decision.
okay,
So I'm just
okay.
trying to help both of you feel good about yourselves.
Okay, thank you.
So
Thank you.
there's that. I think Would you agree that that would be a fun battle to watch and that he
Oh
might
yeah,
have a chance?
100%. I would enjoy
So,
that so much.
but then when it comes to like guns and like any of her resources she has, I feel like she could easily take him out. Like she could set up some explosives in his little I can't talk today. Set up some explosives in his little hobbit hut. He might think it's like a piece of bread at his door or something and bring it into his house and it would blow the whole thing up. I don't know. I feel like she could take him down pretty quickly. And even in hand-to-hand combat, she probably, like strength-wise, she definitely could take care of him. So if you add the ring and if you add the guns, that's cool, but it still doesn't really like it gives them both advantages, but depends on the type of battle. But I would say overall, Sarah Connor has this one.
Ah,
Um, I feel like if it was in the Shire, Bilbo would have a little more advantage because he knows the territory, knows the land. Um, I feel like Bilbo, if he ended up in Earth and it was in her place where she's a waitress, she probably would have the advantage or whatever. But I don't know. I have to think. I think Sarah Connor would have it. I'm sorry.
it's fine.
It would be humorous to watch them have a hand-to-hand combat battle, though, to watch them duke it out a little bit.
But
So
the reality is they would unlikely friendships. I accept defeat in this battle.
I really
But
think I would really prefer my first situation, though. I think
yeah, I think
I
I
just think
accept.
it'd be funny to see him go into her restaurant with all his Hobbit boys and
Well,
just
that's the
order
thing. He
some
doesn't really
a
have any
Then,
bunch of
then
Hobbit
food.
boys.
her waitress friend be like, Sarah, big table, big group on table 6 or whatever.
It'd be all his
It's a
dwarven
large
friends.
party. Then she'd be all like disturbed and irritated. Such a large party, but then she goes and sees all these hobbits, and then she would have a sense of joy because who wouldn't be
And then
joyous about
and
seeing
then
a
they
bunch
would
of
make it like
hobbits?
a monthly thing, or maybe even like a bi-weekly thing or something. Like it's an unlikely friendship. She comes in, she's like, I got table six because she wants to wait on all the hobbits. I think
Well,
it'd be good.
I do think it'd be a Hobbit and dwarves because he doesn't really like the other hobbits that much. He's more
He
like
likes Frodo.
Frodo, but like all the other ones. Remember his birthday party? He's kind of like good riddance when he leaves them all.
That's true.
But either way, it'd be a jovial bunch for sure. Um,
Anyways, and I feel like with Bilbo involved, the Terminator, I think Sarah would have had more luck against the Terminator somehow. I just like to think that. I mean,
yeah.
I know she has pretty good luck against the Terminators anyways, but I feel like Bilbo could help the battle out somehow, especially with the ring.
I love this
And
idea of them going on a quest to the Lonely Mountain to get a bunch of
yeah, I
machine
think so
guns and
too.
then going to fight the Terminators. I just think that's wonderful. I love it.
And I think Sarah Connor could like teach all the elves a lot of a lot of weapons tactics and stuff. Like she could help them improve their arrows quite a bit, I believe.
Then Lord of the Rings happens, and it's like so much shorter because those orcs used to get wrecked by machine guns.
So I think this is an interesting thing you could do a lot with. I appreciate, and I know no one, I guess I don't know for sure, but you could search up YouTube and anything online. I bet no one's done this matchup before.
So, oh yeah,
And
there's
no
no
one
way.
listens to our podcast. This is gold here. No, like this is something no one's ever thought of before.
In conclusion, I do want to share a quote from
Tell your
Gandalf.
friends about the podcast, but go ahead. Sorry, go.
I think this is actually from the Hobbit movie. I'm not sure if this quote is in the books or not, but I just love it so much. Gandalf says, quote, Saruman, which is that evil white wizard, believes it is only great power that can hold evil in check. But that is not what I have found. I found it is the small everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay. Small acts of kindness and love. End quote. That's the kind of quote you hear like he's just like, man, hobbits are so cool. Everyone needs to be like a hobbit, and then the world would be a lot more peaceful.
I would like to see a. I agree. I love hobbits. They're nice. I can't imagine anything violent happening to them at the hands of Sarah Connor, but she would win. But anyways, I would like to see the Terminator, like I think you said earlier, go up against.
Sauron?
Yes,
That
that
would be
would be
pretty.
fun.
Maybe we could do that battle sometime. Revisit
Anyways,
this, the part two of the Middle Earth Terminator saga.
thank you all for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of Unlikely Throwdowns.
And then check out our other podcast, of course, Brothers Born podcast. Kevin and I have been talking a little bit about video games over there, as well as all three of us had a sports discussion. And if Kevin and I talked about how we're going to conquer the world. I mean, just touch every continent in the world. So that'll be a cool one.
And put tariffs on everyone.
Something like that. All right, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Catch you next time.
Can we have a battle of presidents?